good afternoon, and welcome to the Happy Half Hour. I'm Leigh Kubin.
And I'm Sandra Priestley. Welcome to our podcast and happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday. What you drinking?
Today, I'm drinking out of a can, but I'm drinking this clever mojito. It's a raspberry mojito. It's non-alcoholic and Miss Cuban, it's 0 grams of sugar.
Whoa.
I know. I knew you would want
Okay.
to know. I was looking, and it was 10 calories.
10.
Yeah,
Perfect.
so I was thinking it was going to be quite soda
Mm-hmm.
water-y, but it's not. I don't know, maybe there's some sort of, stevia leaf extract. That's
Okay.
what makes it sugary.
Okay.
But yeah, it's pretty good. It almost has like a licorice taste.
So today, I had this all planned out in my head, and it seemed like a beautiful idea, right? So I bring this martini glass up here because I thought I'll just swing by Panera or Starbucks and pick up some raspberry tea, and it'll be pretty in this glass and problem solved. Well, I ended up going to lunch with a friend, and then I had to get back here to see a client. And so at lunch, I just had them put me a tea to go. So it looks really weird in my martini glass. But I am drinking unsweet tea, but it's in a
Oh,
martini glass. So, you know, it's just the wrong
still
color.
fancy. Right. My grandma, my grandma used to always say the food tastes better in a fancy dish.
Mhm.
And for years, I had that saying, I had framed it and had it in my kitchen. But I always think that with drinks, like I could be drinking out of the can, but I'm not. I'm drinking in a wine glass, actually.
Yeah,
And I just think, I don't know, it's like celebration every day, right? No matter
something.
even if it's water.
Yeah.
Mm.
When I was pregnant, I would get in the tub and soak and drink milk out of a wine glass. True story.
Aw.
So, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm in a new space. I moved
And
this week. It was a blur.
it
Just,
seemed like it was just yesterday that you said, yeah, I got to move out of the space I just moved into. Like
yeah,
it does feel like so much has happened in such a short period of time.
yeah. It has, I have really had to talk to myself because I don't like change. I'm not a fan. And I did
Oh,
not realize this about myself until things just started changing quickly. And it's like, your nervous system gets all out of whack and
mhm.
fear can set in. But the move went beautifully. Like everything just worked itself out. Starting off a new month in here, ready to go. I was reading life cycles, and it's like May is a month that needs your focus. Like, no dilly dallying. That's not what it said, but that's what it said to me. Like, you need to have focused intention, not to make things happen, but listening. What do I need to be
Do
doing?
you do you read the Life Cycles book at like I know you read it at the end of the year, like on December 31st for the
Yeah.
full year. You read every single month?
Yeah, because
Practically.
it kind of explains what's going on.
Yeah.
And I knew that it was so important because I kind of fast forwarded at the end of April to see what is
Right.
in store for May. And I could not have stayed in that space for May, like being in that energy, because it's
Right.
it's sad. I don't know really why they're still there. They're just kind of sitting there. For me to walk into that energy every day, it would not have been the move.
Yeah.
Being here with people in and out, even though I can hear some things. I just tell my clients, when you hear a noise, it's going to help you relax more. And they
Oh,
go,
yeah,
oh, okay.
of intention. Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. Any noise just makes me, go deeper. And if it's something that they would rather be in their own space, we can do it on Zoom. Yeah. So I don't know, this is another magical little office, just being led here the way I was. Just go look,
Right.
you know?
And who knows where you will end up after
And who
that?
knows? Yeah. Like I'm just open. Of course, when
Hmm.
we were moving in here, I told Cheryl, the owner, I'm like, y'all better like me because this chair is not coming out of here. Because it was one of those things where we're putting it on its side and having to turn it. It is a heavy chair. So we don't want to scratch it but
Right.
it's too big to just fit through a door.
Oh, goodness.
It's been a really, really good week. I sent you a video. And do you
Hmm.
remember even who it was?
Yeah, because I'm currently obsessed with him.
Oh,
It's Alex Hormozi.
okay.
I listen to Alex Hormozi every day.
Do you know that is the first time I had seen or heard of that man?
Really?
Yeah.
I share a lot of his stuff. Like I seem like a stalker, but I share a lot of his stuff. He is primarily like he made $100 million before he turned 32. And I think
Wow.
he had seven businesses that failed before he had the one that took off. I thought I was telling you the story, but I listen to his podcast every day when I'm at the gym or walking around. But he is literally like omnipresent. He is everywhere, like videos, and he's being interviewed, and reels, and TikToks, and Instagram stories, and like he's everywhere. But he has like this masculine energy that I feel I'm kind of moving towards. I feel like I've been in a state where I was a little bit too feminine, a little bit too passive.
Mm-hmm.
And in 2025, it just felt like let's fucking go energy more so. And I think that that's why I'm aligning more so with him than, the other podcasts that I used to listen to.
Yeah.
But I believe his dad was a doctor
Mm-hmm.
and he was wanting his son to just take over his business. And Alex was like, yeah, no, this seems like cheating. And he said, it's not cheating. Do you think that Shaq, did I tell you this story? He said, do you think that Shaq would say, well, my physical size would make me really good at basketball, but that's cheating, so I'm not going to do that. Like he just uses what he has and you
Yeah.
should use what you have. But he decided he didn't want to do that. He got into Stanford. He was going to get his MBA. And so his dad was like, okay. And he left, drove halfway across the country while he then phoned his friends and his dad to say, yeah, I'm moving to California and I'm opening a gym. And his dad's like, yeah, 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 we'll talk about it tomorrow. And he goes, no, you don't understand. I'm not there. I am now in California. And he had saved up $50,000. He was working for this amazing company, saved up $50,000, put $45,000 into gym equipment and the gym, had five left, and his rent was $5,000. No idea how to market. He was sleeping on the floor of the gym. He had no customers. And so his story to go from like so many businesses failing and this where he's like, fuck, I got to figure it out fast. And then all of a sudden to get to where he is. And I mean, literally everything he says, I'm like, shit, this is gold. He speaks really fast. So
Yeah.
in one podcast, there might be 30 things that he says, like little zingers that I think, fuck, that's good. and I will try to stop and write it down or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
It, yeah. And then his wife, he has, it's called acquisitions.com now.
Okay.
And so he like purchases businesses or invests in businesses to kind of help them. But he's so good. Like he's just so good.
Wow.
Yeah, right.
I will have to check
I'm
him out.
yeah. And and it's really like one of the things I wrote about him actually in my newsletter this month. And one of the things that he said was the long way is actually the shortcut because the shortcut won't fucking get you there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just like he has all of these just little Alexisms, that is just like, fuck, it's true. You just got to do the work.
And yeah, dude, it's like trying to save money. So I really want this item, but it's really expensive. So instead of getting what I really want, I'm going to get this cheap knockoff of it. And then you get the cheap knockoff and you go, well, this sucks. And you end up buying the thing anyway. So you've spent more money instead of just getting the thing. And I learned that early on in our
Mhm.
marriage
Yeah.
when it's very important to his parents to be frugal. And so, I was trying to be that obedient.
Yeah.
Hey, and it's the same thing in business.
Yeah.
Try, when just do the thing
Yeah.
and let it be.
Yeah. And I think I have too, just I would rather have no shit than cheap shit. Like
Hmm.
I I would. I would rather like as far as my home goes, I really think that well, you and I both believe that there's a vibration to it, but does that mean that I need to have like extremely expensive art? No, it doesn't. But it does mean that I use my kids' art. Like I still from years from
Hmm.
when they were in school, I framed it and I love it so much more so than anything else.
Uh-huh.
And if I wanted to purchase expensive art, then I would save up and do that
Right.
instead of purchasing a bunch of shit that I don't really love, doesn't speak to me and
Just to
break.
fill space.
Just to fill space, I would rather have empty space. Yeah.
I've got the kids' artwork framed in
Mhm.
the baby's room.
Nice.
And I know Mona is like, when we get back to the States and get a house, can I have Logan's artwork? And I'm like, yes. But I
Oh,
love
I
it
would
that she
I
wants
think I
it.
would say no.
Yeah, I love it that she wants it though,
Yeah.
because it is cute. But
Yeah.
what he was saying
Mm.
was if we got hit in the head and we forgot everything from our past, all of the stories, all of the trauma. I'm paraphrasing, this is not exactly what he said, but this is what it meant to me.
Yeah.
How would we show up today? How would
Mhm.
we see this thing that we're looking at that we're afraid of? So I've had 7 failed businesses, not me, him.
Yeah.
He's looking at this gym thing. How easy would it have been to go, I've done this before 7 times and I failed 7 times. I might as well pack it up, call it a day. I've got
Yeah.
5 grand left. Oops, that's my rent. How
Right.
many clients? Don't have any food. Yeah, let's just go back home.
Mhm.
But he somehow got amnesia.
Yeah. Man, it's the best amnesia ever.
But it going through this week, things coming at me and fears and then I would think about him
Mm.
going, what if you had amnesia right now?
Yeah.
What kind of day would you make this? because you wouldn't get up worried about this thing over here. You would wake up excited about what's coming today. I don't know, but I know it's going to be good.
Well, I do you remember this story where I had a not great relationship with my in-laws? They were not big fans of Sandra Priestley.
Who
And
couldn't be a fan of Sandra Priestley?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I took Cam in to see my accountant, and this is a new accountant. And she said, "Oh my gosh, yes, we would love to take your account too, Cam. I mean, of course, we love Sandra. She's awesome. She's amazing." And I'm like, "I know." Of course. Anyway, they were not big fans of me, and there were a couple of days where there was a lot of days where we did not get along, or, they would say something that was less than desirable
Yeah.
to me or about me. And I got to the place where I would just say, okay, today's day one,
Mm,
because there was no sense, nothing good was going to come from me going back and harboring all of that past shit. And also, I didn't want to start to try to change their minds. I
no.
didn't want to have a roundtable discussion for the next 4,000 days over I'm right, you're wrong.
Hmm.
It was pointless. It
Yeah.
was pointless to do. All I could do was, okay, today is day one. And one day I actually said this to them, that I was just choosing that the next day would be day one.
Mm,
And I said, I'm choosing to not bring the past into the present.
mhm.
And we had a good run. It was like probably 35 days where we got along really, really great. It might have even
That's
been longer than that.
awesome.
We did not live near them, but still,
Yeah.
And I said, today is not that day, so tomorrow again is day one. I'll see you tomorrow morning, day one. And it's just that's the way that I survived, because
Mm,
no point in trying to change someone's mind about you.
yeah.
And there's no point in
Because their
trying to,
mind, the things that they think about you, aren't really even about you. It's about
no.
them.
Yeah, their perception. And
Uh-huh.
I can't fix it and I can't do anything. The only thing that I can do is be proud of who I am. And so it just became this okay, today's day one.
Mm.
Today's day one. And it's the same thing. Like he says, what if I got hit in the face with a shovel and I cannot remember a thing?
Yeah.
How would I show up?
Hmm.
We would show up way more fucking powerful than we do. And it's just as
Hmm.
when you said that to me, I thought, yeah, that's really good. When you explained how you internalized it in the moment of shit, I'm bringing the past back. How would I show up if I didn't remember it? All of a sudden, it was like, oh, today's day one. Dang.
Mm. Hmm.
Because it didn't hit me like it hit you until you explained how you saw it through your eyes.
Yeah.
And then, oh, way more magical.
But isn't it funny how we all interpret things so differently? Our
Mhm.
experiences
Right.
change the way we hear messages, you
Yeah.
know?
Well, and this is interesting because how I heard it,
Hmm.
what I was thinking was because I think he did talk about traumas in that video. Not, I mean, not in depth, he's not,
Yeah.
but he did talk about trauma. So I went instantly to trauma, trauma, trauma. What does this mean? And how do I interpret this? And for me, it was all of us have traumas, whether they're little t's or big T traumas.
Yep.
And do we need necessarily to go back, look at them, pat them on the head, decide, how we can move through this so that we can detach it from our body. I mean, I have done all of the things. I've done breath work. I've done like all of these alternative treatments and, that say that they remove the trauma from wherever you're stored it in your body.
Hmm.
And then the mindset work and the journaling work and the hypnotherapy and all of the things. And, there's this like on social media is you've got to do the shadow work because if you don't get into your shadow, like your traumas and your triggers and your emotional responses and dysregulation,
Hmm.
you'll never be able to step into your full self. And so I thought about that and I really have played this back and forth in my mind
Hmm.
of do I really believe that you need to go back and touch a wound to heal it?
But let's pick the scab off of it.
Right. Or do I believe that, and so maybe you don't, or maybe you do. And I feel like I've come to this, I'm too Libra for it, right? Like
Mm,
the scales are balance. I could balance these things forever. But I feel like I've come to this like balance where it's like, yes, but don't stay there.
yeah.
Take a look at it so that you can understand this is what happened to me. This is how I internalized it in the morning or in the moment. I don't need to take it with me. But if something comes up that I'm triggered by that reminds me of the past and I have an emotion about it,
You
I
need to
can be
heal
like,
it.
oh, hey there, girl,
Yeah.
I'm safe now.
Yeah.
And then we can move on. But I think the problem is we've gone too far on one side or the other. So a lot of times people are spending so much time picking at that fucking scab that nothing ever healed.
Mm-mm.
And it's 15 fucking years of therapy and they're no farther
Nowhere. Because they're
ahead.
just sitting there talking about it over and over, talking about what is. Triggers are our friend because
Right.
they shine the light on where we need healing.
Yeah,
And
it's true.
yeah. And when we can recognize that instead of going, oh my God, I'm triggered, be quiet. It's like,
Yeah,
heal, girl. But
right.
it's so interesting when you go back and you look at some of these traumas, big T or little t.
Mhm.
As an adult, we have a different understanding of what happened. And we can look at the facts of what happened and then understand as a child what we did is look at what happened and we make it mean something. So we
Yeah,
make it mean something about who we are, what we're capable of, what we're worthy of, and
exactly.
sometimes that we're just not loved or lovable. When
Mhm.
as an adult, we can look at that and go, "Oh, honey, that you had it all wrong." Like, yes, this thing happened, but it didn't mean
Yeah,
all of those things that you that you made it mean. And
exactly.
understanding that is huge because then there's a whole lot of forgiveness that goes on.
Right, exactly. I think I'm pretty sure it's Mel Robbins who says we're basically just 8-year-olds
Yeah.
walking around in
Yep.
like adult bodies. And when you recognize that, it does come with this like natural forgiveness.
Hmm.
And for other people too.
Yeah. I found a
Yeah.
quote that said, "Smallness is starvation of the spirit."
Mm.
And all these people are starving because
Yeah.
it's small.
Because I think, when you have an online business, when you put yourself out there and you say really who you are and what you believe, you are at risk for
Sure.
people publicly humiliating you or disagreeing.
Yeah.
And so it's almost like I will only listen to the people that are in the ring with me.
Hmm.
Again, I just feel I can't listen to the noise anymore of people who are not willing to put themselves out there.
Yeah. They don't get an opinion.
Like, yeah. But you're right. It's about connection. It's about, I mean, we're raising kids who have conversations, relationships online through texting, right? And
Yeah.
not through like actual communication. So even video games or things like it's so easy to detach from the actual person.
Hmm.
Not you're not like seeing the human part
Yeah.
of the person on the other end of that, right? It
Yeah.
just becomes interesting gossip.
Hmm. Oh my goodness. Well, I think with that, we're out of time.
Oh gosh, okay. I'm glad someone was paying attention because I wasn't.
Yeah. Oh, this was good. Thank
Wow.
you, Sandra. And thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you next Thursday on the Happy Half Hour. Bye.
Bye.